Andre Boykin is the first person we'll talk tonight. Andre is many things. He's a keynote speaker. He is an author. He's a corporate consultant, a leadership and sales training expert. That's a lot of things, isn't it?
It is a lot of things.
That is a lot of things. Andre, let's start just by simply asking you this. What are you looking for? What is it that you do that we can refer business to you?
Well, I'm a business consultant. The name of my company is Capital Idea, and we work with organizations who are struggling to implement the business strategy that they've outlined. And this is because of one or two factors. Either they don't have the right people in leadership positions, or the leadership doesn't have the capacity or the capability to fulfill on implementing those strategies. And through the solutions that we provide, what we call talent optimization solutions, they're able to bridge that gap between where they are now and where they would like to be to reach their goals and objectives.
Give me an example of a talent optimization solution.
One project that we worked on is the largest property management company in Florida. We trained 122 of the leaders in the organization, mid-management leaders, and what had happened was the organization had grown so fast that the first thing that happens is the capacity of the human resources gets outstripped. So you start promoting people into positions really before they're ready to assume the leadership responsibilities of that position. So we trained 122 of their mid-level leadership managers and helped them to develop their leadership skills so that they could not only take care of the clients, but help the business to maintain the clients that they have and continue to grow and expand the business. And we also work with them after we had trained those managers on a succession planning process so they can identify high potentials in the organization and begin to develop the bench strength in the organization.
Interesting. At what level do you need to be talking to get an assignment or a project like that? Where's the entry point at a company like that?
The solutions that we provide, the entry point for us is at the CEO, the business owner, the president, or in some organizations that are large, it could be an executive vice president.
Okay. And again, they're looking for specific problems to be solved by you bringing them in. I think you mentioned here that it just seemed like the folks weren't ready to go where they needed to go with this organization. Are there some other problems that you help these folks with?
Absolutely. When we look at the leadership in an organization, we say, well, is there what we call a leadership void in the organization? That means that about the capacity of the leadership to execute. And what happens is environments are not created that are conducive to people being engaged in the work that they do, fulfilled in the work that they do, and also to produce the results that they need to produce. So we work with organizations to create those environments where people can be engaged in the work that they do. So the problems that we solve in doing and creating those environments is we resolve the problem of turnover, we resolve the problem of engagement, we solve the problem of productivity, and all of that leads to not only productivity, but it also leads to reduced expenses and costs, which ultimately impacts profitability. And one of the key components of that is when people are engaged in the work that they do, the benefit is the customers that they serve receive that benefit and become more attached to their organization.
So you have the ability to actually measure the return on investment of what you do for the organization. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely, because every project that we become involved in, we start out with some diagnostic or assessment, whether that's at the organizational level or whether that's at the individual level. And so starting with the baseline, there's an old saying, if you want to go somewhere, you first have to know where you're starting from. And so the assessment process that we use allows us to see where we're starting from, and that will help us to determine what we need to do in order to get where we need to get down the road. So we start out with that assessment to help us do that.
Okay.
And that creates a measurable item because we can come back and say, okay, this was the gap, we closed that gap, measurable results.
You know, it's so important to be able to do that, to tie, like you said, decrease expense, increase income, overall profitability. And I find a lot of consultants can't do that, or they don't do that, or they're afraid to do that. Tell me a little bit about the type of industries that you serve.
Well, we started business in 2002, and so the last 10 years we've been privileged to work in some 21 different industries. And so from banking to marketing to finance, insurance, just all manufacturing, of course, all kinds of service industries. So we've been very, very fortunate to have clients in many, many different types of industries and types of businesses.
And, last question I have is, can you profile a little bit of the companies? How much in sales, how many employees?
Yeah, our target client is that client that's in the 50 million to 250 million range. That's our bread and butter. Now, having said that, we work with clients who are much smaller. We work with clients who are much larger. I mean, we work with Boston Scientific, for example, AvMed. We work with Ryder. Those are all billion-dollar companies. But our bread and butter is that target between 50 million to 250 million dollars in revenue.
Okay. Could you give your referral agents here an idea of the referral deal you have for SSN agents?
Yes, I can. My deal is very, very simple. It's 15%, but here's the thing. It's 15% for a 2-year period, because a lot of times, for example, we can become engaged in a lot of different areas for clients, whether it just starts out with a small project such as benchmarking a job, but then that would lead to training and development of some of their key leaders. So it's 15% over the 2-year period that will be the referral fee.
Well done. Nice job. Well done. Any questions for Andre? You've stunned them.
Well, I've heard that before.
Andre, are you looking for speaking opportunities?
Yes, I am, and I really want to highlight that, because the way we've marketed our company has been through speaking at associations, and so I really want to take that to another level where we're doing more keynotes. We've spoken at several organizations, associations around the country, and we want to do keynote addresses at their conferences, and also as well as breakout sessions. So a great referral for me would be an association who is looking for a speaker at an event, or they need someone for a breakout session at an event. That would be a great referral for me.
Good deal. Ken?
Are there any specific challenges that you face in your business right now, other than what you've already talked about?
In terms of challenges in our business, yes. And I think one of the biggest challenges, because we're really a boutique consulting firm, it's myself and my partner, I think one of the challenges that we always face is the balance between marketing and implementation. And I would say that's one of the toughest challenges that we have, is in trying to strike that right balance of that.
What's the name of the company?
Capital Idea. And you can find us at capital-idea.net. And you can find me at andreboykin.com. That's ANDREBOYKIN.com.
Excellent. And I bet you have some business cards or something for us.
I do have that as well.
And if you didn't, that thing was still rolling. So Anybody else? Hi, Rob.
Oh yeah, just looking forward, that there's a lot of challenges, a lot of pessimism about the next 10 to 20 years. Where do you see America and corporate America going, and increasing our creativity and decreasing our excuse making?
Well, if I understand you correctly, is what is going to be the shift in a corporate America. I think one of the things that's really going to happen, especially over the next few years, that's going to really lay the foundation for the next 20 years, is the influx of what we call the millennial generation into the workforce at a much, much higher degree than we've ever seen before. And I'm talking about the generation that was born after 1982. Right now, 10,000 baby boomers are eligible for retirement every day. And so what we have is we have a lot of experience that's exiting the workplace, and we have, in just a few short years, this generation that's born after 1982 will make up 47% of the workforce. Now, the fundamental shift that's going to mean in corporate America is that the skills that they possess, very, very creative, very, very social, love to network, very technology adept and all those things. But one of the things that's really lacking is the interpersonal skills, the ability to actually communicate in a one-on-one, convey a thought, to make something that's complex very simple is a real challenge for them, because they've grown up in the age of Survivor and everything's very, very technical. My son, who is 24, texts me from the bedroom. And I'm in the great room. I mean, so there's this whole way of communicating that is a little bit different than what we have seen, say, in the past 20 years. I think that's going to be one of the challenges, is how do we harness the capability of this new generation that's going to be exploding in the workforce and really take advantage of the positives that they bring to the organization. I think that's going to be one challenge.
Good answer. Excellent. Anybody else? Wow. Knock 'em dead, brother.
Thank you.
Well done.